A lot of strange and sometimes terrifying things have happened in my life, but I want to tell you about one particular incident. About 4 years ago, when I was 16, something happened that made me check the door lock several times every night before going to sleep. That day, I had invited a friend over for a sleepover. I was living with my parents at the time, but they were staying overnight at their friend's place, so it was just the three of us at home, me, my older brother, who was 17 at the time, and my friend. My brother hung out with us for a bit, then went to bed early because he had to get up the next morning. My friend and I stayed up in my room watching YouTube and chatting. Around 2 a.m., my friend started nodding off and fell asleep quickly. I wasn't tired, so I kept watching videos. Suddenly, I heard a noise outside the house. I didn't think much of it. Neighborhood cats often climbed onto our coal shed at night, and since it was covered in sheet metal, it made a dull metallic sound, exactly like the one I heard. About 5 minutes later, a faint shadow flashed past the window in front of my monitor. It was so quick that, under any other circumstances, I'd have thought I imagined it, but two weird things happening back to back made me uneasy. I got up from my chair and went to check the front door, and damn it, neither of the two locks was locked. What happened next nearly made me shit myself. I locked both locks, then decided to turn on the yard light and peek through the peephole, and right then, a freaking face was staring back at me. I jumped back in shock, yelling, "Holy SHT!" There was a man, maybe 25-30 years old, standing right up against the peephole. I looked again to get a better look at him, and then he started talking. He was asking me to let him in, said he needed help, but you know what was the creepiest part? His emotions, or rather, the complete lack of them. His voice sounded terrified, desperate, like he was truly in danger, but his face was blank, nothing. Just moving lips and a dead, empty stare. I was frozen. He kept begging louder and louder, his voice full of fear, but his face never changed. Then, suddenly, I heard footsteps behind me. It was my brother. He asked, "What are you doing?" I told him someone was in our yard. I looked through the peephole again, and the man was gone. What the hell? I thought. I told my brother what had just happened, and he believed me. He even said he saw someone near the window earlier, but thought it was just his imagination. We turned off the lights and began looking out the windows, trying to find the stranger, but saw no one. Then suddenly, from my room, we heard a blood-curdling scream. It was my friend. My brother and I ran into the room, and there he was, that man, standing outside the window with the same blank face, but this time, his expression had changed. His empty stare turned predatory, even though our yard light was on and the inside of the house was dark, making it nearly impossible for him to see us. He looked me right in the eyes. I froze in terror. Then, for the first time, his face showed emotion, a wide, twisted smile. He raised his hand to his face, and in it was a giant fucking knife. Slowly, he brought the knife toward the window and began tapping the glass with the tip, still smiling. At that moment, my brother was already on the phone with the police. I honestly don't know why we hadn't called them earlier. It hadn't even crossed our minds until then. As soon as he finished talking to the dispatcher, we ran into another room. None of us wanted to stay anywhere near that psycho. The police arrived in about 10 minutes, but there was no one in the yard. The man had vanished. Based on our description, they created a composite sketch. The officers also contacted our parents and stayed with us until they got home. Even though flyers were put up around the city, that man was never found. I'm so thankful I listened to my gut and double-checked the door. And to my dad, who had bars installed on all our windows. I don't even want to think what might have happened if we hadn't had those.